The flash of red and blue lights in her rearview mirror was a familiar, terrifying sight. For a black mother with her baby, sleeping peacefully in the back seat, this was never just a traffic stop. It was a moment of pure dread. The two officers approached her car, their faces grim, confident in their authority. They saw what they thought was an easy target for a routine stop. What they didn't see was the truth. They had no idea they were about to intimidate the one woman who held the power to end their careers before they even wrote a ticket. Her name was Aramis Knight, and the most important part of her day was the drive home. It was the quiet decompression after a long week of putting out fires. A time when the crushing weight of her high-stakes career could finally be set aside. Today, the feeling was especially sweet. In her rearview mirror, she didn't see traffic. She saw the gentle rise and fall of her 8-month-old daughter's chest, sleeping soundly in her car seat. The car was her sanctuary, filled with the soft scent of baby powder and the low hum of a lullaby on the radio. She drove through the familiar tree-lined streets of her own neighborhood, her mind finally shifting from legal statutes and court dockets to bath time and bedtime stories. She was just another mom in a safe family SUV heading home. That's all she wanted to be. But as she made a routine turn onto her street, a police cruiser that had been parked idly on a side road pulled out behind her. It followed too closely, a silent, menacing presence that immediately shattered the peace of her sanctuary. Aramis's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Her heart rate quickened with a familiar, unwelcome dread. She hadn't been speeding. Her registration was perfect. She had done nothing wrong. And yet she knew what was coming. A moment later, the blinding flash of red and blue lights filled her car, reflecting off her daughter's peaceful, sleeping face. Two officers emerged from the cruiser, their movements slow and deliberate. One, the senior of the two, approached the driver's side window, his hand resting casually on his holstered weapon. The other took a tactical stance near the rear of the car, his eyes scanning, creating a perimeter of intimidation. The peace of the suburban street was gone, replaced by the suffocating tension of a confrontation. The senior officer, his name tag reading Miller, tapped on the glass with his knuckle an impatient, demanding sound. Aramis took a deep breath, composed herself, and lowered the window. The officer's questioning began without words. In the condescending tilt of his head, the way his flashlight beam swept across her face and into the back seat, lingering for a moment too long on her sleeping daughter. He requested her license and registration. Aramis moved with slow, practiced caution, keeping her hands visible at all times, a silent ritual she had taught herself to perform for survival. She handed over the documents. He didn't just glance at them, he scrutinized them, his eyes flicking from her professional license photo back to her face, a silent accusation in his gaze, as if questioning her very right to be in this neighborhood. In this car, he finally offered a reason for the stop, a supposedly broken taillight. Aramis knew it was a lie. In the reflection of the cruiser's chrome bumper, she could see her own taillight. Perfectly intact, glowing a steady, defiant red. The lie hung in the air between them, a clear and deliberate act of manufactured suspicion. Meanwhile, the second officer, Evans, began a slow, predatory circle around her SUV, peering through the tinted glass. His gaze lingered on the high end baby seat, on the diaper bag and the passenger seat, his presence a constant, looming threat, the sound of her daughter stirring in the back. Disturbed by the flashlight beams and the palpable tension, shifted everything. A soft whimper broke the silence. In that moment, Aramis's fear transformed. It crystallized into a cold, protective anger. A new kind of fire ignited within her. Officer Miller seemed to sense this shift, his condescension hardening into aggression. He made a sharp gesture with his thumb. Out of the car. The unspoken command was a massive escalation, a move designed to assert dominance and strip her of all control. The world seemed to narrow to the space inside her car. The demand to leave her child, even for a moment, was a line she would not cross. A glacial calm settled over her. She ignored the officer's gesture. She ignored the hand now resting more firmly on his weapon. Instead of reaching for the door handle, she turned and reached deliberately for the sleek leather briefcase on the passenger seat. She opened it, and her hand moved past legal briefs and case files, searching for a different kind of identification, a different kind of authority. Officer Miller's patience snapped. He saw her reaching into the briefcase not as compliance, but as defiance. His arrogant smirk faded, replaced by a hard, aggressive line. He took a step closer to the car door, his hand now tightening on his weapon, ready to issue a final, non-negotiable order. The air grew thick and heavy, charged with the threat of imminent escalation. The world seemed to hold its breath, but Aramis didn't pull out a phone or another wallet. With a deliberate, unhurried motion, she retrieved a single, hard plastic card from a leather sleeve. It wasn't a driver's license. It was heavy, official, marked with a gold state seal that seemed to catch the flashing police lights and hold them. She didn't hand it over. She held it up to the glass, her expression unreadable stone. Miller snatched the card from her fingers, his annoyance clear. He glanced at it, ready to dismiss it. His eyes scanned the name Aramis Night-Tanned. Saw it matched the license. Then his gaze dropped to the line of text printed in bold, official font beneath her photograph. The two words seemed to burn into his vision. State Attorney. Time stopped. The officer's breath hitched. Blood drained from his face, leaving a pale, sickly mask of pure, unadulterated shock. His hand, which had been resting so confidently on his gun, dropped to his side as if electrocuted. His posture, once a predator's lean, collapsed into that of a subordinate caught in a catastrophic error. He took an involuntary step back from the car. He looked over at his partner Evans, his eyes wide with panic. Evans saw the look and his own confidence evaporated instantly. The two officers who had held all the power just seconds before were now frozen in the flashing lights, trapped in a bubble of shattered authority. The routine stop was over. The interrogation was about to begin. There was no shouting match, no triumphant speech, just a chilling, professional silence as Aramis Knight took back her documents, along with the two officers' badge numbers. The men, who had been predators just moments before, were now reduced. Two stammering petitioners, their apologies clumsy and transparent. Their regret wasn't for their actions, but for their target. Aramis gave them a single long look that promised a reckoning far more methodical and lasting than a roadside lecture.
Ow.
Then, with a quiet that was more terrifying than any threat, she rolled up her window and drove away. She made it home. Her daughter was safe. But there was no relief in her victory, only a profound and heavy sadness. The stop ended because of the ID card in her briefcase. It was a shield, a key that unlocked her humanity in their eyes, a shield most people don't have. This story is satisfying because it's a fantasy of accountability. It's a rare moment, where the bully gets caught by the one person they can't afford to cross, but it forces us to confront a terrifying reality. What happens to the woman who is a teacher, a nurse, or a student? What happens when the only ID she has is a driver's license that doesn't command their respect? Their stories don't end with a quiet drive home. They end in fear and handcuffs. Or worse, the stop ended when she proved her power. But the story leaves us with a far more important question. Why? In the search for justice, should a title ever matter more than a person's humanity?